With many in real estate big on the prospects of mortgage rates falling in the near future, the market is sure to heat up. Are you in the best possible position to be competitive when it does? Agents who do the most transactions know what is available, even if there's not a sign in the yard. That is where Team Sweasey fits in.
We keep track of these things. That's our job, to know what's happening and coming on the market and going off. That's part of the value, just giving the opportunity to the buyer to know more about what's going on.
Off-market properties don't actually mean they're not for sale, and that's the topic of this episode of the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Sweasey. Here's your host, who subsequently is also off the market, James Bueno.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for listening to our San Luis Obispo Real Estate Podcast with the one and a few only, Mr. Hal Sweasey, the one and only that's here. Hal Sweasey, how are you?
I'm the only one here.
That's here right now.
Yeah.
Mr. Turner, how are you, sir?
I'm the only one here right now, too. That's Mr.
right.
Turner.
And Ms. Bobby, how are you?
Lovely.
Yeah, the third.
Mr. Kingman, I'm not leaving you out. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay, good.
He looks like he was pouting over there.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, you were a little pouty.
We've been here a while today, and I've experienced every temperature from, I want to say, like 54 degrees to 94 degrees.
Just saying, I'm the one that just keeps it down. Hal's the one that's turning it up.
I haven't touched it since we've been here, but the building was built in 86, and it's got the same heat pump.
Oh.
Yeah, it's top of the line, it was a 1957 heat pump. I got a discount on it. So that's why the heat
It's
fluctuates.
like the difference between, like, in the summertime when you, like, drive from Paso Robles and you drive into Morro Bay, and you're like, whoa, I had no idea. The first time you ever do that, you're like, how could there 25 miles?
Have you noticed difference in temperature? Because I think you might have a hormonal problem.
I am all of a sudden realizing how I probably wouldn't have if you didn't bring it up. I was going to take my jacket off.
Nothing
It'll be
has
very
changed
dramatic
as far as
on
I'm
this.
concerned.
It's warm all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. Well, let's get
44
rolling.
degrees is the answer, Jeff.
44 degrees.
Yeah. Paso in the summer, 113. Drive to Morro Bay, 69.
It's insane.
I love it. So, Hal, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
If I told you that I was off the market, how would you explain that?
I'll just give you an example. So there was some folks tried to sell their house last year on acreage, a nice home in the North County. Didn't work out. And then I was in a conversation with them, and they said, yeah, we would still sell it, but we don't want to have it back on the market because for their reason, everybody has a different reason, it is accumulating days on the market. So if I put it back on the market after 60 days and I was on the market for 150 days, right, that stays on with it.
Right.
So they wanted to refresh the clock. All right. And then we had some nice clients that came back to us after a long time, said, we want a home on acreage. And they were looking at one and go, oh, well, these other folks still want to sell. And they said they would show it. They just don't want to have it on the market. So off market can mean pocket listing. There's lots of what else do you call them? Off market listings, pocket listings.
Yeah, it's basically.
Yeah. That's about it.
Pocket
I thought there were more
listings is normal.
terms. We should make up more terms.
We have
for
in
it.
office.
Well,
No.
if you said to me, well, JT, one of the reasons that people choose to work with our office is because we have access to off-market properties. And I would look at you, had I not known what, been here for a few years, I'd go, what the heck does it mean off-market?
Yeah, so that was just one example.
Okay.
So that's going to work out. And the buyers are happy because this is a great fit for them. A lot of times, too, we talked about in one of our podcasts recently, elderly people or people from out of town, we help them get them ready. So I might list a house on February 1st, and we're not going to be on the market for 45 or 60 days.
What is on the market
Yeah,
for consumers?
What's the difference between the two?
Yeah.
Oh,
Advantages,
I'm
disadvantages.
missing the question.
A little bit.
Okay,
That's
Jeff's
okay.
been here a long time.
Well,
too.
see, the thing is, it's like the back of your hand. So you
Right.
you automatically
It's our
move on
language.
to the new,
Yes.
the next thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I get that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's define on the market,
on the
then we'll go to off the market. How's
That's
that?
why she's the boss.
Good
Brain
job,
call.
Bobby.
Well, no, you all know what that. You guys described that. I'm,
Well, no, but-
I'm
but
screwing. Come back to me when you come to the hard one.
No, but people
This is
out
your
in
show,
the
Hal.
public who don't do this every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it's on the market, it means that it's probably listed with a multiple listing service,
Right.
and probably the big aggregators pick it up like Zillow and Trulia and Redfin, all those, right?
Yes. You
That's
took it
on
to
the market.
On the
Yeah.
market.
And so the public at large and all the other agents in the community know that property's for sale.
Yeah.
So I guess off market would be when you know the property's for sale, but nobody else knows.
See
Or
what I
you-
did there?
or you know
I just
there's an
enabled
interest.
you.
Yeah,
I
you
did
did.
not
An
enable.
interest in selling.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Or like he said, there's a listing signed. It's going to be on the market,
Right.
but not yet.
Yeah.
And so when when you list a property February the 1st and it's not coming on the market till March 15th, does everybody else in your office know that it's for sale?
Good question. So like we have our team. So our team knows,
Right.
My listing manager, our 4 buyers agent, they all are aware. And of course they're just going, when can I show it?
Right.
When can I bring an offer? That sort of thing. So sometimes, I've got a perfect client. Can I show the house? They're well qualified. I will call a client up and go, hey, there's somebody that might be interested now. Right. So the big decision for a seller. So buyers like it because it gives them more options. Or,
Right.
hey, this property meets your needs perfectly. Sellers don't want to show it yet. It's not ready, but it's coming up for sale. And they're going, oh, great. What, they know. So they get the jump on the competition.
Right.
So that's helpful.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah. So it really just depends. A lot of agents, not as many as you used to, but agents that are out there working that have a client, and our buyers agents do this, will call other agents, go, hey, do you have anything coming up in this location, in this price range? Oh yeah, because I got a buyer. There's nothing out there.
Right.
Right. So the ones that are out working and hustling know that sort of thing.
So between our 4 fabulous buyers agents, at any one time, they could have anywhere from 10 to 50 hot buyers. And I mean by a hot buyer, somebody who's qualified to buy, who wants to buy, who's just looking for that property that fits for them, right?
Correct.
If you walk in the office at 2 p.m. and say, hey, I just listed a property on XYZ Street in San Luis Obispo.
Yes.
Are your buyer's agents picking up the phone immediately and calling those people that want to buy
Yes.
something that matches that property?
Yes. Or
Okay.
telling me, hey, the Andersons sold their house. You got a month to find a place. They got cash. They're flexible on timing. What do we have in the Farini area? What do we have on acreage in Arroyo Grande? What do we have downtown, Paso? Right. So it's a little of both. And then we put our heads together. So there's a lot of that collaboration for sure.
So
Right.
if I'm a potential hot buyer of one of your buyer's agents, there's a benefit to me of working with them because since you list more properties than anybody else around, I'm going to have access to the quote unquote off market property before it hits the public.
Yeah. And you gave the example, I've just listed a property, come back. It might be, hey, just so you know, I'm going to meet the Jones family on this address. They're not sure yet if they're going to sell it, but it might be something as, oh my gosh, if you get that or they sell it, let me know. So I've got a big 23-acre property coming up with a house and a couple of guest houses, that sort of thing. And people are, oh, okay, well, let me know when I can show it.
What's the benefit for the seller?
Yeah, well, it really just depends. I mean, we got one now where we got some clients and they actually came to us through a friend and said, oh my gosh, this gal is going to be selling her house. They'd like to sell it to us. She actually doesn't want to have it on the market. The thought of having a great buyer without having to show it and prep it and all that sort of stuff and people coming and going, it's never fun to have your home for sale.
Right.
So for a seller, you have to make that decision. In a really, really hot seller's market, it's a huge mistake just to let somebody come in and just sell it to them, usually, right, without exposing it to the market. Now, as it's normalized a little bit more, if somebody makes you a good price and you look at the values and what they're offering, sometimes they will allow that. So I just explain it to people. I go, listen, this buyer could be the best buyer we're going to see. We don't know.
Right.
And any seller at any time, whether it's on the market actively or not on the market, when you get an offer and you negotiate and you seem like you've gotten as high as you're going to get from the buyer, you have to go, if I wait another day or two or a week, will somebody better come along?
Right.
You never know whether it's on the market or off.
Yeah.
But there's a better chance if it's off the market that there may not be. I mean, there could be more of a buyer that you don't know. So that's what you weigh out. So usually I just say to people, listen, hey, if there's a price that somebody offered you and they say, for that price, I'm not going to go through the hassle of getting the carpets clean or do anything and they just want to come and buy it, okay, I'll sell it. So it's pretty informal, and I just try to give everybody all the facts so they know. On the buyer side, more choices or a heads up is always more attractive. And from the seller side, sometimes convenience is better than maybe I'll get a few bucks more.
If it's off the market, I don't get to do my job. I don't get to do all the marketing and get it all the exposure.
We brag about the property when we get it listed, right? In every way possible.
When it's on the market.
And you get to brag about it when we sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you still
you
get to
do
brag
your
about
job.
it.
You just don't get to take photos.
Yeah.
You like
Nobody
flying
still-
the drone, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
He doesn't like crashing the drone, we found out.
No, none of us like that.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah.
After a while,
Our bookkeeper doesn't like it either.
Birds.
Yeah, well,
Back in 2014, I called Hal and said, we're thinking about selling the house, and he came over and we signed a listing agreement, and Next day, a for sale sign shows up in our front lawn. And about the time the for sale sign got put in the lawn, my wife called me and said, no, we're not doing this. And I call him and go, you better get that sign out of the yard before she gets home from work. Well,
That's before James worked for us. Yeah, I had to go out there with a pickup truck.
Yeah. And a year later, you called me out of the blue and said you had a buyer that had lost out on a couple other properties. It wasn't the market like we had in 2021, but it was a robust market. And you said, I've got a buyer, and would you consider it? And so as a seller, why would I consider selling off market? To the point you made, I didn't have to stage it. I didn't have to prep it. You brought me an offer. I kind of said, I felt like I had a little leverage. So I said no. And the next day you brought me back a better offer. And when I said, well, we're going to Hawaii and we'll be back in 10 days. And we just can't make a decision till we get back. So we're in Hawaii. We're sitting on the beach with my best friend from college, whose wife was a real estate agent. And she looked at us and goes, are you stupid or what? You got a great offer. Take it. You don't have to show it. You don't have to stage it. And so we took it. I figured there'd be a request for repairs. And I figured there was probably about $50,000 worth of stuff that if I were going to stay in the house, I'd probably want to do. They asked for 15. And I could have been a jerk, I guess, and go, no, I got all the leverage here because I don't have to move. But the 15 was fair. So I agreed to it.
Didn't you agree to it begrudgingly?
Well, after I called you a few choice names, I think.
Yeah.
And they're names, words that you can't use on television.
Yes, exactly. There was a lot of family names thrown out. Yeah.
George Carlin would not let me use those words on television.
How many times do you get off the market listings?
We have a whole list of people that I try to keep track of them. I mean, I can't tell you how many. I was like, I just want to know what the place is worth and maybe later. And I'm doing a better job of keeping track of that because it's a low inventory market. So we just keep a file of, potential coming soons, and once a month we'll look at it, or if we have a special need, I might remember it. But that's the whole conversation thing, which is a great thing about our team because we're there every day and we're in the office. I mean, John is so great when we talk about customer service. If something doesn't go as well as it should, it almost always boils down to communication. We didn't remind the person that there's a home inspector coming today, or we forgot to tell them, hey, don't put an extra charge on your credit card, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, because that could affect your credit and your debt to income ratio and that sorts of things. Critically important for us in our team. Right?
Can I take another run at the off-market answer there, James?
Yeah.
Currently, without looking, I think we have listings in the mid to high teens, 17, 18, 19 listings, something like that. But only maybe half or a little more are actually on the market. The others are off the market. We call them in preparation.
Yeah, in process.
So we've got the signed listing. We know the house is going on the market, but it's not on the market yet. And again, back to, his buyer's agents. If I'm one of his buyer's agents and I found out at 2:00 this afternoon that he just listed a house in Laguna Lake, I'd be on the phone to all my potential buyers in Laguna Lake going, hey, we got one. Here's the address if you want to drive by, and we'll try to get you in there as soon as we can, but it may not be for a month. Those buyers could decide to bring an offer without even going inside the house to see if they can't get into first place. So that's the value when you're a buyer working with an agent or a team that has lots of listings. And that's why more people choose to work with Team Sweasey than anyone else.
You guys do a lot of deals. So because you're having the meetings, because you're having these conversations, and I'm guessing there's some kind of strategy involved in that as well. When you say you sit down and you have a meetings and you're talking to the buyer's agents and everybody's kind of roundtabling it, I'm guessing that gets the wheels turning in everybody's heads.
Every morning at 9:00. Yeah, we're here. And who's your best buyer? What do they need? What do we have? What do we have coming up? Christina, my assistant, just lets everybody know. Just so you know, Hal has somebody who's got 5 acres with a house and a guest house that people just called in, not sure if it's going to be for sale, but here's what it is. That always helps trigger it. And we want to just keep that top of mind.
Back in the first few months of doing these podcasts, we talked about how important it is that real estate agents develop great relationships with other real estate agents. Because our team is so active in the marketplace and handling, so many deals a year, we are actively talking to other real estate agents on a daily, if not hourly basis. And by developing, those relationships, we're able to uncover some off-market, quote-unquote, properties by, I think you said it a few minutes ago, just asking the other agents. So, hey, by the way, we're talking about 123 Main Street, but hey, I've got a buyer for, Banana Street. Do you have anything coming up over in that neighborhood?
Had one the other day where another agent made an offer on our listing and had listed a home, and my seller was considering that offer, and the agent that had the offer on my listing was getting hers ready for sale and said, I think I've already got a buyer, but they need to sell a house. Oh, okay. Where's the house? Well, it's in Pismo Beach in this area. And so I go, oh, we've got a buyer looking over there. I go to Graham, our buyer's agent. Hey, Graham, somebody's got a place coming up off of Princessa, just so you know, you might want to give her a call. And so he did, so that things happen that way. Mm-hmm. And then that other agent who, nice person, doesn't do that much, goes, gosh, people are suddenly calling me about this. Well, hello, we keep track of these things. That's our job, to know what's happening and coming on the market and going off and that sort of thing. I mean, that's part of the value, of giving the opportunity to the buyer to know more about what's going on.
As a client of your team during the craziness of a really hot market, our family really appreciated, even if it was a property we did not like, the fish we're feeding.
Right.
And it was at least giving us that opportunity and giving us that competitive edge. If it was the right property, meant a lot to us.
I like it when my favorite restaurant says we're going to have risotto tonight. I wanted you to get in here. I'll be there, right?
Dave Ramsey, the guy that does podcasts about finance and real estate, he talked about how to choose an agent. I think I shared this a few weeks ago. And one of the things that you want to look at is the activity of that agent. And so when I look at the county of San Luis Obispo and the 2,000 plus agents in the county, Bobby, would it be fairly accurate to say the average agent does about 2 transactions a year?
No, that's probably pretty fair.
So if I'm doing 30 transactions a year, do you think I'm probably more well-versed in what's going on today in the marketplace than if I did 2?
Right.
Well, the average person on Team Sweasey did over 30 last year. And so having access to one of those folks is going to help you find the right property because they are so active in the marketplace, which is back to the whole subject that we brought up today, and that's off market. Mm-hmm. It's not only off market, but on market too, because the person that's doing 30 or 40, right? They're more well versed in writing offers, getting them accepted.
You got to follow that as well.
Yeah,
because people look at a house and go, oh, I like the house, but I don't know if the price is right for me or whatever, and then 2, 3, 4 weeks later, sometimes people adjust the price, and now it's like, oh, at that price, I'm a buyer for that house, right? So
all of a sudden, it's an option.
I always tell people when they have a listing, if it's not the market's not responding well to the price, if you adjust it, right, it's like having a new listing because a whole new set of buyers are looking at it when it was $850 and now it's $800. That opens it up to buyers in a different price range and another set or group of people. So, yeah.
Dave Ramsey also said if your brother-in-law's sister's friend is an agent that doesn't do any deals, don't give them your business. Find somebody who's active that knows what's going on. And so we hope if you're looking to buy or sell that you choose Team Sweasey, because I think these guys here know what they're doing.
Hal, you have anything else?
Are the cameras still on?
Cameras are still on.
We're recording? Okay,
Yeah.
I forgot. So
Yeah.
I hope it turns out all right.
It's so natural now.
Yeah. Okay. There's
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Bobby, you got anything for us?
No, this was a fun one. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
that's good.
That's great.
All right. Again, everybody, thank you so much. If there's a topic that you want to us to discuss, please let us know. Hal at Team Sweasey, James at Team Sweasey, John at Team Sweasey, JT at Team Sweasey. My bad.
.com.
All right. And thank you very much. And we will talk to everybody next week.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Hal Sweasey podcast. Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast. Check for it in your feed for the latest information on the San Luis Obispo County market. The Slow County Real Estate with Hal Sweasey podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and on halsweasey.com, where you can find current listings and other real estate tips. halsweasey.com, that's HALSWEASEY.com. I am James Bueno, Director of Marketing for the Hal Sweasey Group. If you're looking for anything real estate, give us a call, 805 781-3750.
San Luis Obispo Real Estate Podcast with Hal Sweasey is also on YouTube. Now you can see people talk about real estate in one of California's hottest markets. Get the latest episode on the podcast page at teamsweasey.com or subscribe to Hal Sweasey on YouTube. Hal Sweasey is a licensed California real estate broker. DRE number 011119111. The SLO County Real Estate with Hal Sweasey podcast is a production of AGM Podcasts. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.